Well, hello, family, my roller friends. Hey guys, we are here. We are in England and we are actually in Derby, England. So when you hear Derby or when you hear England in general, who do you think about? You think about the Godfather. You see the green loft already. You see part of it. You might know, and if you have not seen this loft yet, we're gonna get this young man. He looks like a young man. Look at this George Mason here, guys. He lost some weight. I seen him walking around like it was like, wait a minute. So he's got a little hand something there. He's had a little fixed, but he's getting that worked on. He's looking good. I'm gonna pass this over and have George, if it's okay, maybe show us around and we'll talk a little bit. We also have, we have Dave here, Dave Vincent. And Dave Vincent is here. He picked me up yesterday. He's the regional director for the Midlands.
East Midlands.
East Midlands.
Midland Roller Club secretary.
The secretary.
We have a club.
Yeah, we appreciate everything you do, Dave. But thank you for doing that for us, because we all need, some people don't hear about folks like you that are doing what you do, just because, whatever, we don't go see your fly, we don't go see your birds, but meanwhile in the low end, that's the important stuff. So we appreciate what you're doing.
It's got to be done.
Yeah, we appreciate that, buddy. So we're going to turn this around and see if we can see some of George's setup here. Yeah, let's see what he's got there. Been here before, and every time I come, I kind of see something somewhat new. Look at this.
Yeah, well, these are all the breeding pigeons. I've got more breeding pigeons now than I normally keep, but the last few years I've took the best out of the flying team and put them into the breeding shed, because you can't keep up.
Look at that beauty there.
Breeding numbers now.
Small. Oh yeah. The hens.
I'm breeding on the colony system, which isn't a good idea.
That's a lot of work there.
No, on the colony system it's easy.
Okay.
The colony system is when you've got all your boxes undone.
Oh, okay. You're just doing the open system, yeah.
The colony system. But I used to have individual boxes. There was 6 in here, and then I had a fowl pen there, and I'd have 2 or 3 breeding boxes, and the shed around there.
Yeah, it's a lot of work. Individuals, okay, that's what
but
you
meant
open.
But I can't get down there anymore.
No, it's not.
When I write a pedigree, a lot of people don't take no interest in them anyway. It's just something that I've always done. But
paperwork.
I tell them when I give them the pigeons now with the pedigree, it's only a guide. I can't guarantee the cost.
Yeah, paperwork. Let me ask you before we move out of here. Is that just a pick stone, kind of like a?
No, it's just a lump.
Standing.
It's just a lump of concrete that I got out in a plant pot, and they throw that much food about. And I've tried all sorts of things, but they still waste it. But I put that in, and hopefully they don't waste as much. They normally leave the wheat now. And at one time I was just throwing it away, or throwing it on the field for the pheasants. But now I put it in a bucket and then tip it when it's windy and blow the dust out and then feed it to flyers.
All right.
Otherwise you're wasting a lot.
Nice. A lot of history from this loft here, and we'll take a look at. So we want
long block there, that one.
The other is the older one. This is
Well, I've finished breeding now. A lot of these are hot eggs. I've got about 10 youngsters. I've got 10 youngsters that I'm breeding for Trev. In fact, I've rung 8 of them. There's 2 more. These are all on pot eggs now.
Yeah. All 25. Yeah. Just use. Nice. When you're pairing your birds up, of course you're pulling them out of the air and picking them out of the air. When you pair them up, and the cock and the hen, do you look at any offsetting on color or anything like that? Or?
No.
Okay.
I must admit, I've never had. I used to only have like 1 recessive red in the shed a long time back. Now I'm seeing we getting a lot of recessive reds, and there's not many of them that don't roll. But I'm getting too many roll downs. Whether it's anything to do with the colour, I don't see why it should be. Right. Because I'm not into colour anyway. Right. No matter to me what colour they are. Yeah. I mean, I like them. I like the colour, but.
Now, would you take a pair that you feel like is going to be a good one, put them separately so that they can pair up before you put them in the open?
No,
colony system?
what I'll do this time, I think there's about 4. When they get to about, the stock pigeons, when they get to about 8, 9 year old, I've got somebody now that wants whatever I've got. If I'm getting rid of any of them older stock pigeons, when I take, the last few years, I take the best. If I get rid of 2 cocks and 3 hens, I'll take the best of those out the fly team and put them in here. The oldest ones out the fly team, unfortunately, instead of being 4 and 5 year old out the fly team, they're probably 2 year old now.
Yeah.
Because we're not keeping them long enough. Yeah.
Now tell us, George. So when did you really start with your rollers? Because I mean, this is the motherland here, England, of where rollers. We find that we started.
I went to a show in Derby. Well, no, I was going out with a girl in Derby. And we were,
that comes together. That's a show and a girl. Well, but anyway, it's confusing the show and the girl.
Anyway, let's put it this way. We were saving up and there was 2 kits of pigeons, tumbler pigeons. My 3 mates that I grew up with all had tumbler pigeons. They weren't called rollers, they were all tumblers. No such thing as Birmingham rollers then. Well, we didn't know them as that, we just tumblers.
That was
2 kits for sale. I don't know, I'd be...
roughly just...
Yeah, I wasn't married, so I'd probably be about 17, no, 16.
You're 83?
16. And these 2 kits were for sale. And my father had racing pigeons, and he wouldn't let me have any tumblers in the garden because he was racing, but my mates had all got them. And then my father lost his leg in a caterpillar track on a bulldozer.
Oh.
He got it, and he told my oldest brother to sell the pigeons, so I got a big racing lot. So these 2 kits of pigeons come up for sale in the night paper, and I bought both kits on. I can't remember what I paid, and I put them in the shed. And after about a week, I let them out, and I never managed to own one of them. I lost all the lot.
Took off,
Anyway, and went back to where they'd bought them from, and they said they ain't gone back. And then eventually, when I got married, or before I got married, no, it was when I got married, and that's 62, 63 years ago. We got the cottage to rent, and the day we got the key, we got it on a Wednesday. On the Saturday, I got a shed up here, straight up before we moved in. Weeks
Same
before.
place, right here.
Yeah, only a small shed.
Nice,
yeah. And then I got these pigeons. I met Fred Seven at a show in Derby, the police show. It was a big show with 1966, I think that was. 65, and Bill Pensome came in 66. And I met Fred Seven. He was from Upnall, Nottingham. He was a deputy down the pit. And I went to see Fred, and I paid £3 a pair for rollers. And that was a lot of money then. My mates who got the tumbler were playing like 10 cents a piece one. Fred Seven.
Wow.
And Fred he had his own pigeons, and he had Ollie Harris as well.
Really?
And the mate that went with me from one of the lads that I grew up with, he bought 1 or 2 pair of Ollie Harris pigeons off him that was supposed to be up straight Ollies. And I had these blues of Fred's. I flew them for a while, and Bill Barrett used to come and he said, "You need to have some of my pigeons." He said, these have got a bad wing action. But thinking back, it wasn't. It was, I ain't got the skills to fly the damn things. So that's when I started with them. A long while ago.
Nice.
And then one day Bill Barrett came and he said, "I want you to have some of my pigeons," and I fetched, I think there was 13, and I flew them. And the following year I didn't breed off them. He said, "Why don't you pair away?" I said, "I'm going to pick the best out and just breed off the best." And then some years down the line, Lenny Harris from Upnall, who was a big friend of Fred Seven's. Lenny Harris won the All England.
Lenny Harris. Wow.
Lenny
That
Harris.
name sounds familiar.
He was no relation to Ollie Harris.
Oh,
none
yeah.
at all.
Oh,
But he bought pigeons off Ollie, him and Stuart Reeves. And I was at a presentation night. It was System Fanciers in Leicester. And they used to have a show every month. And they had pigeons, poultry and rabbits all on the same night in a bowling alley. And then a boxer took over and we lost that. But Yeah, I had these. I went to the presentation, and Lenny Harris was there, and he said he was finishing with the pigeons, and he got some young birds for sale. He'd let the old birds that he got, his stock birds, he gave them to a fella called Frank Pickles in the north of England.
Yeah.
And then the young birds he got, I says, how many have you got, man? He says, there's 10. I said, how much are they? He said, £1 each. I said, I'll fetch them. And I fetched the 10, and when I went for the 10, he says, there'll be 11 more in a week's time. I said, I'll take them. And I flew them, and I kept 4 out of them 21. And one of the pairs, I bred the white in 1980. 1979-80. And I paired that on a Cockerbill Barrett's 1978-18. And that's when my family went back. The pedigrees aren't long enough now, but a lot of the pigeons are tree out and still take back to that pair. But when you get that far back, it's not important anyway. You know what I mean?
No, it's good to know history still.
It is,
just,
but,
you know, that Frank Pickles and Ollie Harris and all of those names, you know.
Yeah, but a lot of the people now in England won't know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
I mean, Bertie
Well,
Goode,
we do in
Bertie
America.
Goode, Americans know more about the English old-timers than what they do in England. You never hear anybody mention Bob Brown or Bill
Barrett.
And Bob Brown was the best flyer that's ever been, I'll tell you that. What made Bob the best, he could get the best out of a kit 8 times out of 10, and I'm not on competition day. That's what made him.
I heard that before. Yeah,
he
not
was
the
special.
first.
He was special. Yeah. Well, there weren't as many people flying either. But I went to Bertie Goode's. He was a big friend of Penson's. He lived in Arborne, Bertie, a lot of years back now, early 20s I was. I remember going down his shed. He only got a small shed.
We're going to pause this here, guys, and I'm going to continue on the YouTube because this is live, and in 30 days we might lose this guy. So I'm going to go ahead and flip this around, and we'll continue this, guys. I want to save this. Again, 30 days, these Facebook Lives, they delete, so I'm going to go ahead and we'll continue it on, guys. Sorry.